Clap sync in 3, 2, 1.
Let's go. He remembered the one. What is up,
Yeah.
everybody? We are back once again, bringing you episode 12. I was going to say it in Spanish, but I don't know how. Episode 12. Look, I took French in school. Leave me alone.
Why were you going to say it in Spanish?
I don't know. I just
Where
wanted
did
to.
that come
I
from?
wanted to.
For a
It was gonna be fun.
Spanish-speaking audience.
It's going to be fun.
Episode 12.
It's like, yeah. I was about to have this whole conversation with you guys in a different language, but I just realized
I don't speak that Spanish.
that language. That's crazy.
It's like the whole Jeff Dunham thing where Peanut and Jose, the jalapeno, are speaking in Spanish and Jeff gets butthurt because he don't speak Spanish. Anyway, what is up, everybody? We are Beyond Us. I am Daniel. I am joined once again by Brett
Howdy.
and Salo.
Howdy.
We come to you on this fine Friday morning, unfortunately, because we had some scheduling conflicts, so we had to change it up. So it's early. Forgive us. We might be a little off kilter. We'll figure it out. Salo's still waking up. You can see it in his eyes, but we'll get there. For anybody curious, it is July 1st. Friday morning, July 1st. So just so you have a little bit of information on what the date is, so that you know what topics we discuss. And whether or not things have happened yet in the world of reality. But how you doing, gentlemen? How you been since the last time we spoke? Brett, how you doing since about 45 minutes ago?
Well, a lot has happened. A lot has changed.
All right, good. Salo, how you doing?
5 minutes ago, okay, all right. Fuck me. That's cool.
Salo, how you been?
Pretty much same old, same old. Need a couple more cups of coffee, but I'm good. What about you?
I'm just chilling, man, One day at a time, hanging out, doing my thing. Brett's pondering, but I'm not really worried about it. I don't really care.
Quick question. How many cups of coffee is acceptable?
I don't drink coffee.
Oh.
I've never had coffee.
I'm a coffee addict.
This was more so for Salo. Like how like let me think.
Do you guys want to guess on a normal?
The answer's 3.
On a normal, 3. So on a normal insurance sales floor, and I'm a sales agent, right? So I used to average, because I'm better now, because I went to the doctor, high blood pressure, blah blah blah. Now I run and all that stuff, but 5 cups a day, like once, like 2 or 3 in the morning, then 2 in the afternoon. At that point, I'm just drinking it for the flavor. Like, it's not really to wake me up, because at a certain point, you're like, you can't wake up anymore. But I usually used to do 5 a day, man. It was horrible, but great.
Brett?
Well, now I'm concerned.
Because Brett drinks.
Saying that like
Brett,
you were saying
Brett,
that like that's a lot.
Brett, pre-military.
Pre-military. I didn't drink coffee.
See? We don't have to talk about in the military. That doesn't count, man.
But they're not deployed.
That's not.
Give me a guess, though. What's a good number? What's a
while
military
you're deployed?
coffee number?
While you're deployed?
Like,
yeah.
7.
You don't stop.
Well, wait. We just said in the morning.
No. I was doing throughout the whole day.
I mean, you're mourning the process. Like, nah, man. Like, by the time the morning's over,
you're still drinking coffee.
you probably got through, like, just for the morning, you probably got through, I'd say, 3 cups of coffee
and a Monster,
and you're on your second energy drink. That's the morning of like a active deployment.
I lived on energy drinks.
I got into the wrong profession.
No, you didn't.
You're right. I didn't.
I'll tell you what. Never drink a ribbit.
A ribbit.
A rip it, like rip it. It was like the standard energy drink given to deployed military personnel. Like, it was, they were small, but they had the
kick.
They had the kick. Like, I was surviving off of those things. But they fuck you up, man.
They do.
Sometimes you need to be fucked up.
Like it takes a shit ton of caffeine to like wake me up.
And they work, but then you crash.
Really badly.
Yeah, with those you crash. It's part of the reason I've been drinking the Rogue Energy as much as I have. Because
they don't cause as much of a crash, and he's addicted to caffeine. That's the facts. That's the facts.
Which is weird, because I can go, like, I can go a day without caffeine and be fine, but that's because I'm actively engaging in stuff that takes my, like,
focus.
If I go to work, I need the caffeine. Like, I need it constantly.
I'll go through withdrawal without caffeine. I'll start getting
I get
migraines.
hella grumpy.
I'll start getting migraines.
So like 300 milligrams, right? That's like you took a dose of pre-workout.
Yeah.
That's a starting point for me. I drink an unhealthy. Point. Yeah.
I'm glad I don't feel too bad after having this conversation. I thought I was a bad noodle, but now I see.
Dude, you'd be surprised, like the caffeine consumption of armed personnel.
It's a lot. Yeah, I will say I've never had coffee, so mine's never been quite as bad. I don't know how I've gone 27 and a half years without drinking a cup of coffee, but I've done it.
You're crazy because you stay up a lot. You just don't drink coffee, huh?
Never had it. I don't like the smell.
Well, you don't need coffee when you have insomnia.
It's true. I don't like the smell of coffee though. I've never liked the smell of coffee.
See, that I enjoyed. I enjoyed the smell of coffee. I just never enjoyed the taste.
I don't like the smell. And then
but you learn to make it taste good.
Speaking of smells of something that I don't like that people seem to enjoy the smell of and the taste of, I don't know what they're called, but I'm going to walk you through it. They are small little round, basically like, I guess, candies. And they're like minty, I think. I haven't ate them because I can't stand the smell. No. They're pink.
Piece of gum?
And they look chalky almost. And I swear to God, they smell like Pepto-Bismol.
Oh, the Bubblicious bubblegum?
They're not gum.
Okay.
I don't know what they're called, but
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't
pink little circles. Are you talking about Pepto-Bismol pills?
I don't know what they're called. Hold on. I'll try and see if I can find it.
Sweet tarts?
No, they're
Altoids.
Alrighty.
Hang on.
I know.
They smell like Pepto. I'm telling you, they smell like Pepto. They are wintergreen lozenge candies. That's what they're called.
They're cough drops.
No. They're technically cough drops, but they're not really cough drops. They're mints. That's what they are. They're fucking pink mints that like I'm gonna show you guys a picture, assuming the brightness doesn't go horribly wrong, but these.
That's what I was looking at. I wouldn't buy that in the first place.
They look like something that would be in a generic no-named bag of candy.
They are
Valentine's Day themed.
They are wintergreen mints, and they smell like Pepto. I could never fucking eat them. They smell like fucking medicine, man. Oh, it's just... And then I'm just like, I'll sit out in the living room while I'm playing board games with my uncle and like my uncle and Heather will, and even me mom sometimes, but mostly my uncle and Heather, they will just eat them by the handful. Just chomping them down, and I'm just like, oh, it smells so bad.
Ooh, so they like that candy.
Yeah. Can't stand the smell.
I don't think I'd buy that, go anywhere near.
But that was what it made me think of when we were talking about coffee. Like, it's just something that smells so powerful that it overwhelms my palate.
I'm like 50% coffee, so I disagree wholeheartedly.
And 50% what? South American?
I haven't decided yet. South American.
That's where the coffee comes from.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
Be an on-running gag.
Going back to the wildlands. You get your coffee from Bolivia?
South Bolivia.
I don't know. Confiscated a lot of things he could get from Bolivia.
You ain't kidding. Anyway, so guess what happened yesterday, guys?
Did we lose more rights?
No.
So what happened yesterday?
I mean, that got really sad, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's still sad, I guess. Logan Paul signed a contract with the WWE.
Yeah.
Really? WWE?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There were rumors about it. I knew. I didn't.
Yep, he
I don't
signed
know
a
how I feel
contract.
about that.
He signed a contract with them. Well, I mean, it's
Is he
probably
gonna-
for the best because it's not like he can do real fighting.
Oof, that hurts.
Now, his brother Jake, he can actually kind of box. He hasn't actually fought like a real boxer, but
you can
see
like,
he's got the fundamentals.
Yeah, you can see it. I would like to actually see him fight a boxer.
But Logan got his shit kicked in by KSI, so I mean,
I hate how his claim his like claim in the boxing world is gonna be that
he went 10 rounds with Floyd Mayweather.
Oh
When Mayweather 100% knocked him out in the 6th round and held him up.
Yep.
100%. Like, people will say that's
Man went
fake
to
news,
sleep.
bro. 100% that man was slump.
He went to sleep.
And Floyd held him up so that fight wouldn't end because Floyd was getting paid per round.
Bro, did you guys hear Mayweather talk about like he was getting asked in like an interview about who the greats are, and he got asked about Muhammad Ali, and this dude had like really nothing good to say about it. He like pointed out toward like the one reference he had towards Ali was like the losses he had towards the end of his career.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when he was older and he was much slower and stuff like that. And that's all he talked about, and saying like, I don't remember his exact words, but it got real disrespectful. And they actually asked Mike Tyson about it. Mike Tyson was like, yeah, he's delusional.
So here's
a delusional man.
Not delusional.
Here's the thing. Muhammad Ali's a legend. And, I mean, you know, everyone should know that. But, if we're being honest, it's not like the competition was all that.
Fair.
There was like 2 names other than Muhammad Ali that he had to worry about. And everyone else was kind of chump change.
So, I will say overall, like, the talent pool has increased
Significantly.
significantly. I think the thing that makes Muhammad Ali stand out is not just the fact that, like, okay, they weren't all as great as the boxers are now. Muhammad Ali was a different type of beast.
He was.
The same way Mike Tyson was a different type of beast.
Yeah, for sure.
The thing is, you don't necessarily get from Mayweather.
Here's the thing, though. Mayweather,
he's a point fighter.
But he's the greatest boxer of all time.
He's a point fighter. So like when you compare the 3 individuals, you have a different impression of all 3. Muhammad Ali, you see the fucking speed. You can't touch him. The only time people could touch him is when the man was aging. Like, his body couldn't keep up. Like,
so here's the thing. Muhammad Ali was fun. Tyson was interesting because he was unpredictable.
it's brutal.
But Mayweather's the best. No one's ever beaten him. There's no arguing it. The man went 51-0. There's no disputing he was the best to ever put on a pair of gloves. Look, I don't like him. I've never liked Mayweather. He always fought like a pussy to me. He played mad defensive. He fought in his own corner 90% of the time and did bob and weave like there was no tomorrow. But then he would two-piece the fuck out of somebody. I mean, here's the thing. Defense, there's a reason in football they say defense wins Super Bowls. Defense is the best offense. There are a reason these analogies are a thing. At the end of the day, he wasn't as fun to watch, but he was always a safe bet. I'm going to be real. If Mayweather has an opinion on boxing, I'm probably going to listen to him. And if Mike Tyson has an opinion, no disrespect to Mike Tyson, the man's a beast, but I'm going to be real with you, the man's not all there.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to that guy.
Like, his opinion, if I had to take Mike Tyson's word versus Floyd Mayweather's word on if somebody is a credible boxer, I'm going to listen to Floyd.
But it's Muhammad Ali, though.
Oh,
no.
But here's the thing. Muhammad Ali is a legend, but does that mean he was actually that good?
Doesn't matter. He was good at the time.
He was good at the time, but good at the time doesn't mean good. I'm not saying he wasn't. I wasn't there.
But that could be applied to every situation everywhere.
So let's put it this way, right? You have the individual that creates the tool, right? You have the guy that creates these tools, creates the uses for these tools. That guy's a genius.
Sure.
Then you have this other guy that comes along, picks up these tools, and does miraculous things with them.
Sure.
That guy is also a genius.
I'm not saying that.
But when should that guy disrespect the guy that
I'm not
created
saying
the
there
tools?
should be disrespect. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, I think Ali deserves to be recognized as a legend. I don't think Ali deserves to be treated as the greatest. Because he wasn't. He lost in his prime. It's not like he only lost once he got old. He lost in his prime too.
Yeah.
And in his prime, he was also fighting Chump. My analogy would be...
The conversation wasn't about who's the greatest.
No, I understand
that. The conversation was about being a legend.
But what I'm saying is, you said that Mayweather didn't have a lot of good things to say about him. I don't know that there's a lot of good things to say.
Muhammad Ali?
The man was fast, and the man had a wicked jab. But other than that, he was fighting dudes with glass jaws, and half the people he was fighting weren't real boxers. I'm just saying, Muhammad Ali doesn't... I think Muhammad Ali gets a lot more praise than he deserves because the man was an icon outside of the ring. The man was a personality. And I think that's why Muhammad Ali gets as much love as he does. Because I think in his prime, Muhammad Ali versus in his prime Mike Tyson knocks Muhammad Ali the fuck out.
So you're thinking just like purely statistical, like who is the better person, just record-wise?
I'm thinking just purely based on in the ring. I don't think Muhammad Ali... I think Muhammad Ali...
Okay. I'm curious now. Just hypotheticals. In his prime, Mike Tyson versus in his prime, Mayweather.
That's so hard though because there's such different weight classes. There's a reason boxers in weight classes don't fight. Outside of weight classes, don't fight. Mayweather's so much smaller than Tyson. That's just not fair.
Well, I mean, in that same regard, does that change things in terms of like how we look when we just talk about these guys in general? Like,
yes and no.
So
the reason,
they were fighting.
What I'm saying though is like, so Muhammad Ali was great. I'm not taking that away from him, but I'm not comparing him to this person. I'm using this as an analogy. Nobody come at me for this comparison. I am not saying he is the same in this comparison. Don't come at me.
Getting them comments.
Do not come at me.
Just go. Get ready.
Muhammad Ali is a legend. This man is not. However, comma.
Fingers.
However,
comma.
However,
Get
comma.
ready.
If you took Carson Wentz from the NFL, who is arguably one of the worst starting quarterbacks in the NFL, and you put him in the Canadian Football League where the competition is not the same, he becomes a legend.
This motherfucker did not just compare Muhammad Ali to Khan.
I am not saying they are on the same caliber. Muhammad Ali is different in all categories. But what I am saying is, if you take someone and put them against people of a lower caliber, they look more legendary than they are. If you take somebody like a Carson Wentz, who is in the bottom echelon of NFL quarterbacks, he's definitely in the bottom 10. Or a Mitchell Trubisky. And you put them in the Canadian Football League, where the talent pool is not the same. Their stock, their interest, their fame, their everything goes up exponentially because they are just more talented than what they are competing against.
So
obviously, Muhammad Ali is a significantly better athlete than both of them.
I do understand your point. I think the comparison is a little flawed in terms of making this a more accurate comparison. You wouldn't be taking Carson Wentz and putting him in the Canadian Football League because you're not comparing two different levels. You're comparing two different eras. So this would just be like taking it like it in your comparison, it'd be going back in time and taking a different class of NFL.
Okay, it would be putting Carson Wentz in a league of the NFL when they were all farmers. And none of them were actually pro football players. 90% of the people Muhammad Ali fought weren't real fighters. Now, granted, when Muhammad Ali fought real fighters, sometimes he knocked them the fuck out, but sometimes he got his shit kicked in. I'm not saying the man couldn't fight by any means. Muhammad Ali could fight. I'm just saying we look back like he's a legend because of his name, not because of what he actually accomplished in the ring. No one knows what his record was. No one knows how many world titles he held, unless you're the biggest boxing fan like there is. None of us can sit here and say, oh, hey, Muhammad Ali, yeah, 100%, he did this. I can tell you right now, from before my time, Terry Bradshaw, he won 4 Super Bowls for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I didn't even watch football in the 70s when I wasn't alive, but I know what Terry Bradshaw did because he was a legend in the NFL.
I was going to say it's because, like, you're a huge football fan.
I am a football fan. But Barry Bonds, that's a legend for what he accomplished against other pros of similar caliber. Maybe even better caliber, and he still embarrassed them.
Say it isn't so.
Mayweather fought people spanning 15 years of different calibers ranging from everything and beat all of them.
You sure you're not a Mayweather fan?
I'm not. But I speak facts. Mayweather undisputedly was better. He just was.
Yeah, so I mean, I agree statistically.
And Mayweather was smarter. Because at the end of the day, Mayweather knew if I can't win a fight, I'm not going to take it. That's why he ducked the Pacquiao fight for 8 years.
You think Pacquiao would have beat his ass?
Pacquiao would have rocked his shit if he had fought Pacquiao in Pacquiao's prime. That's why he waited until Pacquiao lost a step and then he danced around the ring for 10 rounds. And that's why he beat Pacquiao. Mayweather was smart.
Don't take a fight you can't win. And know the game. He knew the game. He knew that the game, ultimately, as long as you don't get knocked the fuck out, the game's about points.
And he was the best point maker ever.
it doesn't matter if you get the hardest hit in.
It just matters if you get the most.
Interesting.
And he would jab all day.
All day.
Like, I'm not saying Muhammad Ali shouldn't be respected. He should 100. I don't think he should be disrespected. I'm just saying anybody that says Muhammad Ali was the greatest fighter of all time is disrespecting Floyd Mayweather.
Statistically speaking, I guess I have to agree. But Muhammad Ali was a legend.
That I agree with. 100%. Legend, 100%. Garbage human being,
100%.
100%. But legend?
Really?
Yeah.
Was he an asshole?
Oh, he was a rapist.
No way. Really?
He raped like a 14-year-old girl.
Damn. I didn't know that at all. That's craziness.
Yeah, he was a garbage human being, but that doesn't change what he was able to do in the boxing ring.
Yeah, I've never heard about that.
I have no idea what you said. You cut out at first.
I said I've never heard about that.
I had never heard about it either. But it came up. I was watching something with my grandmother, and she said something about it, and I looked it up, and she was 100% right. He has a history, history of raping and abusing women. He was a bad person. Doesn't mean he wasn't a good boxer.
Yeah, but it doesn't help much in his legend status.
No. He shouldn't be idolized.
I mean, I told you about this, but Salo, you know that like famous picture of Muhammad Ali, where like he's standing over that guy with an angry face. He has his hand up. Dude's like just sprawled out on the ground.
It's like the
Classic
only poster
image.
you'll find of him. Yeah.
Yeah, the only it's like you Google his name. That's like the first 5 pictures coming up, right? So apparently, like the reason he was so angry, right? That whole situation, he was upset, not because he was like into the fight, you know, he just kicked a guy's ass. No, he was upset because he barely touched the guy and the guy flopped over.
Really? So he was angry.
Yeah, he was pissed because in that photo, the guy he was fighting threw the game.
And he was upset? Like, he was like, get up.
Yeah. He was taking a dive.
That's craziness. I mean, it makes sense because he looks mad.
You see it, you see his fist balled, and he's just like, he just has that angry expression. He's legitimately pissed.
Yeah, this article says that a book that was written about Ali says that after several interviews with his wives, his ex-wives and shit like that, he was not only addicted to sex, but sex with women of multiple ages, and he was abusive. There are multiple records of him abusing at least two of his 4 wives, and records and indications of him raping girls as young as 12 years old.
That's insane, man.
So, garbage human being.
That's crazy.
Now, granted, age was looked at differently in that time. It's still disgusting, and rape is unacceptable at any time, at any age. Age was looked at differently then, so 12 wasn't as disgusting back then in the public's eyes. It's still gross.
It's weird how that's changed over like just the course of humanity.
Well, because life expectancy wasn't as high in previous lifetimes, and like, I mean, Elvis got with his wife when she was 14, I think, or 15. Like, age and like when things are okay in the eyes of the world have changed over time, and we know what's morally okay now.
There's something else that goes along with that. So, over the course of humanity, the initial period in which we consider ourselves infants, and that like that molding stage has elongated as time has gone on.
Mm-hmm.
The window was a lot shorter way back in the day because you didn't have that protection and like you didn't have the what's the term, like the breadth of room to like expand your mind like that. So this is more of an evolution thing than anything else.
Yeah, for sure.
That particularly, not
no. I know what you're saying.
Not the yeah.
Yeah, no. I got it. Anyway, let's move on to something a little more fun.
Oh gosh.
We got some questions, guys.
Oh, cool.
We have 4 today.
Ooh.
We'll start with one from Amber. You find an uninhabited island. What is the first rule you make as the new leader of this island? Now, here's the thing. If it's uninhabited, there are no rules. I'm the only one here.
Yep.
Well, no, she didn't say you're the only one there. It just was uninhabited when you stumbled upon it.
That means I'm the only one here. Let's just move on. Brett, don't say it. So, let's just go ahead and assume, like, for whatever reason, let's expand on this.
You have people that are subservient to you when you show up to the island.
We shipwrecked, and for whatever reason, we're voted as the leader. Let's go with that.
Okay.
So there are, let's go with 200 people on this cruise, on this uninhabited island, and we are the leader. There we go. Let's go with that.
They chose one of us. They chose one of us.
We chose one of us. It wasn't a choice. I'm the only one with a gun. There we go.
Okay.
They don't. Right, they're too stupid to realize it's a flare gun.
All right. Cool.
What is the first rule you make as the new leader of the island?
First rule to make.
Here's why I hate questions like this. I always have questions in response to the question.
All right, like so what?
What kind of island is this? Like vegetation wise, are there animals? Like, do I have a constant food source? Like, what am I working with here?
I'm gonna say we have. I don't know. We have a food source, but we have to earn it. You either have to go hunting or you have to go scavenging or whatever. Or fishing.
Rule, no eating each other. First rule.
I was just thinking that, but I didn't want to put that as the first rule.
That's not my first rule.
The exact thing. I was thinking the exact
thing. That is a rule. That's not my first rule. My first rule, first and foremost, you don't eat unless you contribute.
What? What about the sick and the elderly?
The sick and the elderly are an exception. We're going to build here?
What about the zombie apocalypse, where there's people who are sick and ill?
They die.
You're crazy. They come over to my community. You'll be fine. We take care of our elderly.
And that's why you run out of food.
No. We're vicious and we attack other people to get food. So
that's why you lose, because you got sick and elderly people.
I like the idea. There's a zombie apocalypse. Salo lets in sick people.
Like, Salo's ideas are just getting dumber and dumber right now, bro. Look, if
you have a zombie bite, please welcome. Take a seat.
If you're sick or you're elderly, obviously there are exceptions. Someone can pull the load for you, but you don't get to just sit around camp and do nothing and mooch off of other people's hard work.
I feel like setting a rule like that is like setting the tone for a savage. Like, I don't give a fuck about you, society, though.
That's
that
fine.
I don't want to live in. What?
You do not get to sit around camp and eat all the food that everyone else is scavenging. If you are not doing the work, you don't get the reward.
The reason I went with the no eating people as the very first rule I bring up is because for some reason I feel like, I mean, obviously I don't know what this group is, but I'm playing the odds that there are probably several people where when they realize that we're stranded on an island, like I'm assuming we gathered the info, came to the realization, assessed where we are, what's going on. When they came to the realization that like we're probably not going to get help, probably a few people came to the idea of like, all right, who am I eating first?
So, here's the thing. I'm going to be honest with you, and I know this sounds horrible, and I'm going to get some judgment for this, and that's fine. I'm not making a no eating people rule, because here's the thing. At the end of the day, some people might die, and we might need food.
That's more reasonable to me than your first rule, to be honest.
My first rule is totally acceptable. If you don't think so, you're out of your mind. If you're just going to let people sit in camp and mooch off the hard work of other people, you are going to
say that.
That's what you're indicating,
that, like,
though.
Fifth rule or sixth rule, but I wouldn't make it my first rule.
If it's not your first rule, it's not respected. You have to establish something that makes people respect the authority of the camp.
I think it wouldn't be respected if, let's say, you made that rule 5 days into you making rules. Sure, that's not that respected because you, at that point, you already let these people do said thing, right? Like, it was already established, like, okay, you already have a group of people that have decided they're just going to sit and wait for someone to come home with food. Now, if you say it like, we'll just use the rule that we said. You say, hey, we're not eating each other. Goes into second rule. When we go out and we look for food, you're not going to partake in said food unless you are contributing. Like, now, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you go, like, you're saying, like, what you, like, you are establishing your rules. Those initial rules will be followed.
See, that's the
as
thing.
long as you are actually respected within the group.
See, that's the thing. Like, you, at that point, you're kind of like saying, like, hey, we're setting 5 rules all as once. This is our first rule.
Because I mean, there's no way I'm saying one rule and then walking away.
For sure, but like
I'm establishing ground rules.
Right. So your first rule has to be a rule. In my opinion, your first rule has to be a rule that gets people to know that you're serious. Hey guys, we're not eating each other. Half, if not more than half, of the people are just going to be like, well, no shit. Now, like you said, you might have those stragglers that the first thing they thought is like, all right, if we have to, who am I going to eat?
That juicy, but for the most part,
most of these people have never once considered eating somebody, and telling them, all right, guys, we're not eating people, is just going to induce a panic.
Who's going to eat?
Who wanted to eat me?
You said you wanted them to take it seriously.
But that's not a good kind of serious. Saying a rule that makes everybody realize, oh shit, I need to help, is a good ground rule because it says, all right, focus up. Listen, if you don't help, you don't eat. Okay, well, I'm hungry, so I'm going to help. All right, what do you need help with? All right, here's the rules. It's such a quick thing. Everybody gets hungry. Everyone. Even the people that want to eat people, they want to know when they can eat. They still got to help if they want to eat. I'll let you eat a leg if you help.
So I agree. Okay, so I would probably say something along the lines of, you don't eat if you don't do the role you're given within the camp.
Yeah, contribute.
So everybody gets,
that's why I said
everybody gets a role. I like that.
If you don't contribute, you don't get to eat.
I would say more so if you don't do the role you're given by the camp.
That's what contribute means.
Yeah. That's. What do you?
I'm not saying he has to go. They have to go scavenge. Not everybody's a scavenger, but if you're not contributing, you're not eating. If you're just
saying, if you're
just sitting in camp, like, lounging, just waiting for people to bring back the coconuts, you're not eating the coconuts.
I still wouldn't make that my first rule. I don't know.
If you're the guy that like set up like lodging, like you're getting
food. You set up lodging. If you built a shelter, you deserve to eat. If you're the person that did inventory on all of our medicine supplies from the ship, you can eat today. Congratulations, you did a lot of work.
You're the guy creating an SOS signal.
You've worked. Like, if you're anything that's actually productive to camp, that is contributing. I'm not saying you have to be out there hunting. I'm not saying you have to be out there climbing trees for coconuts or picking berries. That's not what contribute means.
Okay.
look like you want to say something.
I wasn't sure where that was going.
Yeah.
I understand now. But it still wouldn't be my first rule. I don't know what my first rule would be. Possibly not to eat people.
I'm sticking with the don't eat motherfucker.
I think that induces a panic.
And I will quell that panic.
I don't know if you have time.
All we have is time. We're waiting to be saved.
Yeah, we're stuck on a fucking island. We have plenty of time.
If you induce a panic that quickly, all chaos breaks loose. If you cause a panic that causes anyone to die, you lose respect as a leader.
Murder the people who disagree with me. I beg to differ.
You very quickly lose respect as a leader. The goal is to keep your followers happy. Otherwise, they will revolt.
Keeping them happy is not necessarily true.
If you don't have a straight up army to defend you, yes, it is.
No. You don't need to be happy as long as you're surviving. In that situation, most likely no one's happy.
Realistically, if people don't find satisfaction in what is being done, they will blame the leader. That is the easiest person to blame.
If things are like consistently going wrong, sure.
If a riot happens that causes anybody to get hurt or anybody to die because people panic and they think someone's going to try and eat them, so they just start swinging, they're going to blame the person that said, hey, don't eat people.
Yeah.
Yes. 100%.
No, I'm pretty sure we, because I'm going to be a part of that group, are going to blame the idiots that started swinging at people.
Or started eating dead people. That's not cool.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't do that.
If there's no other food, you eat what you got to eat. Salo, you're telling me if you're stranded on an island and there's no food source and there's a dead person next to you, you wouldn't cook the dead person and eat them?
I don't think I would, man.
I would.
I don't think I would.
Brett?
I don't know. I just don't think I would.
Brett, if you're stranded and there's no other food source.
On an island?
Anywhere. If there's no other food source.
On a desert?
It doesn't matter where. If there's no other food source and there's already a dead person. I'm not saying you kill somebody to eat them.
I mean, you're probably not going to have a choice. So when it comes to the end where you're in a point of desperation, you're not going to consciously make the decision. You'll just do it.
So then I change my answer. I say no, but I will unconsciously eat them at the time.
Like you're not going to want to, you're not going to like it, but you most likely will. Especially if someone starts cooking somebody in front of you.
I'm gonna be totally honest with you. Like, it would probably be my idea.
Would you make them into a soup, or what would you do?
To grill them.
Why would I make them?
Why would I make soup?
I'm just asking questions. I want to know.
It would probably be my idea to eat the dead person at that point. We need energy. Also, we need protein.
Ironically, you're also probably the first one being eaten.
Probably. I'm probably the first one dead.
You're suggesting it in your
I'm probably not the first one dead.
No. Someone probably would die before you. But most likely, till the point that you guys are like around starvation, and people start like getting the idea of eating people.
I'm not the right pick. You don't want a lot of fat.
Hey, man.
You don't want a lot of fat.
Hey, that's all muscle in there, so yeah, I would pick you first.
Do you not know the difference between fat and muscle? That's a real question.
There's no real answer.
Salo, does your muscle jiggle?
Does it fold?
It doesn't fall.
Let's move on to a different question.
Just like my money.
All right. Murphy said, my partners and I saw The Black Phone. It was fun, but just wasn't really scary. Are we just not scared anymore, or are scary movies not as scary as they used to be? Scary movies are not as scary as they used to be.
So I think that's a threefold response. First, most scary movies are not as scary as they used to be. Correct. Second, our tolerance level.
Yeah, we're desensitized
of horror.
We're desensitized.
We're desensitized. It doesn't affect us as much. And three, that movie was less a horror movie and more of a suspense movie.
Like a threat, like a suspense.
I don't think the question's necessarily about that movie specifically.
Oh, I'm just saying, like, for that one. Like, it was more of a build a shit ton of suspense. What's going to happen? And then there were, like, jump scares that would happen where, I mean, in my opinion, I thought they were tasteful. Tasteful jump scares. But a lot of it is the fact that we are desensitized to horror.
I think we are desensitized, but I do think horror movies are just not as good as they used to be. And I will give you a prime example. Brett and I watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre on Netflix. And that movie was fucking rough. Rough.
Was it just gore? It seemed like gore to me. That's all it seemed like.
I don't know. I don't remember because my brain deleted it because it was so bad.
I remember a scene on a bus. That was gory.
Yeah.
That was a gory scene.
The party bus. I forgot about that.
Bus.
I don't remember any of this movie. I remember one person didn't know when to shut up. And I remember one person didn't know when to shut up. And I remember
there was a lot of people that
I remember one person didn't know when to shut up, and
like the killer was around and they were just like, "Oh, let me talk."
Yeah. And there was one guy that everybody definitely thought was racist, and then he ended up not being racist.
It was very much like the movie wanted everyone
to think he was racist. And then he super wasn't.
He
was just a country boy. That's it.
Maybe didn't necessarily know how to interact with people the best.
Yeah, maybe not.
Like he was a little bit of a generalized dick.
Yeah, he was just kind of douche. Yeah, not a racist,
like.
No. And not a misogynist like they made him out to be.
No, it definitely wasn't that. He was a guy you could probably have a beer with.
Yeah, probably.
How long ago did you guys watch this?
I don't know. 6 months ago?
Oh, okay.
Ish.
Maybe.
I
couldn't recommend someone to watch the movie.
No.
I can tell you that much.
Another movie I could tell you that was a horror movie that wasn't good, the new Grudge. Almost said Ring. The new Grudge. Garbage. Fucking abysmal. One of the worst horror movies I've ever seen. Well, it doesn't make any fucking sense. It takes place over 3 different years, but it time jumps back and forth between the 3 years and doesn't tell you what year it is.
I hate that.
Throughout the movie. My uncle and I saw it. We were the only two in the theater. At one point, I kid you not, at this point, I'm not worried about spoilers, because if you haven't seen the movie, you're lucky. At one point, we were sitting in the movie, and this guy is just standing outside this house in the rain looking at this house, and this lady walks past him with her groceries and just doesn't care. Walks in. My uncle and I both at the same time. We're the only two in the theater, so we don't mind being loud. At the same time. Who the fuck is that? We had no idea who this guy was, but they made it very clear that he was important. Later in the movie, that guy shot himself in the head, but missed. So he only shot himself in the cheek. Oh, one lady decided she wanted to no longer be alive, so she jumped from like the 7th floor of a stairwell and fell all the way down the stairwell, hit her head on a couple railings, blah, 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 hit the ground, and simultaneously imploded and exploded at the same time.
At the same time?
Yeah, like her body went, oop, bloop, all at once. And I kid you not, I will never forget this. The lady that saw it happen, in fear of it, said, someone get help. To which my uncle and I looked at each other, and I don't remember which one of us said it, but somebody said, who's she going to get? The janitor? She's dead. The movie was fucking abysmal. It was really bad. And, yeah, I regretted watching it. Another movie, last example I have for recent horror movies that was fucking garbage, the new Resident Evil movie. Fucking abysmal.
Really? I didn't see it. I was excited to see it.
Also, yeah, still haven't seen it.
Quinn saw it, and Quinn's a huge Resident Evil fan. I told Quinn, don't watch it, and he's like, I'm still going to go see it. Quinn texted me. Quinn never texted me. Quinn only messaged me on Facebook. Quinn texted me because he didn't want to wait until his internet was strong enough to message me on Facebook, and just texted me and said, I should have listened. It is horrible. It's such a bad movie. At one point, it is doing like, I don't know if you guys remember the name of these. They're like the weeping angels, where like whenever you look away, they move.
Yeah.
And you look back and they're closer. There is a scene in the movie where one of the zombies is kind of doing like a weeping angel thing, where the light is flickering on and off, and every time the light flickers, it gets a little bit closer. So it's doing like a weeping angel kind of thing with a zombie.
Yeah.
And it's getting mad close, and then the light comes back on, and the zombie's not there anymore, and I'm like, okay. And then the light goes off, and the light comes back on, and then it attacks from the side, and I'm like, the zombie learned flanking maneuvers. Okay. All right.
Why did the person watch the zombie?
Why did the zombie flank? Why didn't the zombie just finish attacking?
He's being tactical. Come on, man.
Why?
Because strategy.
Evolution.
It was just so bad. And this one guy gets infected, and he's driving his tractor trailer through. He's leaving Raccoon City, and about 2 hours later, he is still driving, and somehow is still in Raccoon City.
Yeah, it's a big city.
Not that fucking big. You know how I know it's not that fucking big? Because Claire rides her motorcycle from the same fucking place that he dropped her off to the police department in Raccoon City that fucking guy crashes into 2 hours later, and she gets there in 10.5 minutes. It's... and Leon is the biggest pussy I've ever seen in a movie. I mean, just a straight up fucking coward. Like I know he's supposed to be the rookie, but god damn is he a bitch. And it's just bad.
Well, moving on from bad movies.
Point of the story, horror movies are just not as good as they used to be.
No, they're not. I agree.
Yeah. Oh shit, you have like 2 more questions, don't you?
I do. You want to do them real quick?
Yeah.
All right. Murphy also asked, Pip got me into watching The Good Doctor. Good show for anybody that hasn't watched it. I've been talking about it on my stream. There was a choice in one episode I wanted to bring to you. If you had to lose feeling in either your... I remember this. Okay. If you had to lose feeling in either your thigh or your genitals, is that an easy choice? Because the show made it seem like it's a very easy to decide. That is a very easy choice. Take the feeling out of my thigh.
Yeah.
That is not a question.
Absolutely.
We can move on. I'm not...
Thigh.
Yeah, we
Thigh.
can move on.
Thigh. Okay. Yes, Murphy. Very easy to decide.
Yes.
I don't know why I would care about my thighs feeling at that point.
No.
I don't know if there's any body part I would choose to keep feeling in over my genitals.
All right, what's the next question?
Final question. Amber had one more question for us. If you could create a TV show, what would it be about? Real talk. You know what I would kind of love and hate at the same time? I'd love a live action Pokemon.
Live action. So you're talking CGI or
like real people and then CGI'd Pokemon?
It'd probably be the same way they do in the movie.
Yeah, like the movie. Yeah. But a live action Pokemon show. I'd love that.
I would watch it.
Be interesting. They'd fuck it up.
Yeah, for sure.
But it'd be interesting. I
would say Kingdom Hearts, but that's eventually going to happen someday. Oh, you know what? No, I got a better answer. Because Pokemon, they probably would fuck up. I stand by this, and we talked about this a little bit earlier this week, Brett. I really want
Dead by Daylight.
I really want a Crypt TV style Dead by Daylight TV show. Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say something like along the lines of survival, some sort of thing like that.
Brett?
So,
we're a Tubby Nugget show.
I don't know. There's not a lot of things I can think of that like isn't
already a thing.
Already basically a thing.
Right.
I would just want things to be done better.
Like the ending of Supernatural.
Or the entire Avatar: The Last Airbender movie.
Or give me more Firefly, damn it. Shit. I wanted more.
I want more of The Order.
One season.
Did you guys watch The Order?
Mm-mm. No, I don't know.
I did.
The show was weird.
Really?
It was fun, though. Oh, speaking of shows that we're getting more of.
I dislike it.
Speaking of shows we're getting more of, real quick. It got confirmed. Season 2 of Squid Games is on its way.
Really?
Netflix
That's
confirmed
exciting. Do we know? We don't know a release date, do we?
No.
They just confirmed it.
I'm pretty sure it hasn't even filmed yet.
Isn't the concept the origin?
No, it's a sequel.
Sequel.
As far as I know.
With the prequel idea.
I think they're doing a prequel as a spin-off. But I think I'm trying to remember. I think without hefty spoilers for anyone that hasn't watched it yet, I can't remember anybody's names because they're not names that I can even pronounce most of the time.
Same.
The North Korean girl, I think her brother is supposed to be one of the main characters in the new season. But as far as I know, it's supposed to be a sequel, but it could be a prequel. It could have just been some misinformation.
That's what I've heard.
I've heard both sides of it. I've heard both sides.
They've been highly considering a prequel.
I've heard that the prequel was supposed to be a spinoff, and that the second season was supposed to be a sequel, following what happened after everything that happened in the first season, and where our main character from the first season is going forward. We're also apparently getting a reality series of the Squid Games. I don't know if you guys heard about that.
I heard about that. I don't know how they're going to execute it. That's interesting.
I mean, well, there have been so many different
Mr. Beast
variations of several different YouTubers making Squid Games happen.
Mr. Beast being the most memorable one.
It's kind of already done.
If you had a shot at $4.5 billion, but there was a risk you would die, would you take the shot?
I mean, I suppose it depends on what I'm just joining Squid. Do I know anything about what I'm doing?
Squid Games.
Hell no.
I'm in.
Probably.
Hell no.
For $4.5 billion, I'm in.
I'm gonna stay home.
I'm in.
I'm not gonna die. It's okay.
Salo, you mentioned the TV show you'd want something survival based, like
Squid Games.
What did you mean by that?
Squid Games. So I was thinking something because I like watching those survival shows where it's you're out there. Have you guys seen Alone? Something like Naked and Afraid. Something like that, but with a unique twist to it, or or some sort of like zombie survival simulation thing where there are these rules that you have to follow.
Something like that. Actually,
I think I've seen like YouTube channels do stuff.
Yeah,
like that.
I think I have too, but nothing like TV level production type stuff.
But yeah, apparently Netflix is making a reality Squid Game show, where $4.56 million will be on the line. People will compete in. It will be 456 players, 10 episodes. People will compete in games inspired by the drama series, along with new challenges aimed at whittling down the field. Yeah, so it's just a reality version of it. I would assume with less death.
You excited?
I would assume with less death.
Hey man, might happen. You never know.
You know what? If it makes it for some real interesting TV.
Waivers are a powerful thing.
Here's the thing.
Man. You can
waive
your right to anything.
Realistically, people would say, like, oh, there's no way I would watch something like that. So many people would watch it anyway. Because they would just be too intrigued.
Oh, absolutely.
They'd be too intrigued.
Like the
It's just so hard to look
the
away.
The movie Death Race?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, if there was something like that where people were, like, their lives
or like
were
the
legitimately
Condemned
on the line.
If you remember the Condemned,
it.
like it would be too enticing. It'd be hard to look away. It's like those YouTube videos or those Facebook videos where it's like, this is mature content. Are you sure you want to watch? Yes. Now I need to know what's behind the fucking black screen. I need to know. I'm curious. And then most of the time I regret it. Anyway, there's all our questions. There's all our questions.
Appreciate you guys asking questions.
Yes, definitely do.
To keep it coming.
Yep,
keep it coming.
Asking questions. You can ask more questions for episode 13 over the next 2 weeks. If you have questions you want us to prep for, like the TV question, try and not ask 8 hours before we record the podcast. Amber. Try to at least give us 2 days.
So I got something.
All right.
Something I found out about recently, and I was surprised I never heard of it. So I'm wondering if you guys have.
Is it maturity?
Have you guys ever heard of the Nevada Triangle?
No, I haven't.
No.
Like you guys have heard of
the Bermuda Triangle?
The Bermuda.
Yes.
Bermuda Triangle. Yeah. Everybody's heard of that.
Except Tim the Tap Man.
So, except Tim the Tap Man, but he knows about it now. So there's that. So the Nevada Triangle, it's a real thing. It is from Las Vegas to Reno to Fresno, California.
Okay.
Which is weird. Like, 2 of the cities are in fact in Nevada, but the bulk of the triangle space is in California. That's beside the point. So like over 2,000 planes have mysteriously crashed and gone missing in that area.
Huh.
Throughout the years. Just gone. Like, they crash and yes, there's a shit ton of wilderness. There's like, the mountain range in that area. But just gone, and people couldn't find them. Like, they end up finding wreckages of planes like years later. Like, someone will fly over, crash, they go looking for this person, then they find the remains of a crash from 30 years ago. You know, like, it's...
I'm gonna be real. I thought you were about to say, like, they'd go looking and they'd crash.
It's just a chain of
fucking unfortunate, wouldn't it?
Just a chain of crashes.
Party. Find a search party.
I mean, when you think about it, how brave do you have to be to, like, let's say
I wouldn't do it
for like big reference. The search party in the Bermuda Triangle.
No.
Who's the brave motherfucker doing that?
Not me.
That ain't me.
That's Salo.
Me.
I volunteer Salo for trivia.
Well, yeah, Salo and Genghis Khan.
I'm gonna go scoop up all the sick and elderly people from my
their
camp.
boat. Because you know Genghis Khan ain't flying nowhere. This man from the future with his future technology.
Future technology, time travel.
So like the interesting thing is like it's not just like random pilots, like that don't know what they're doing, that are just randomly crashing out of nowhere. These are like seasoned,
veteran
Air
pilots,
Force, Marine, veteran pilots, well-trained, documented, record-setting pilots that are just randomly just going down.
Just going down.
And they don't and they don't know what's really causing that. But there are obviously theories.
I gotta ask real quick before you go into these theories.
Uh-huh.
Is your goal to come to every episode with some like weird, bizarre, spooky
fucking
bullshit?
weird thing? Hey man, that's what comes across my feeds. Yeah.
Why? What is in your search history? Last time it was the dog bridge.
Weird, interesting shit out there.
Last time
the dog
it was
suicide
the dog
bridge.
Suicide bridge.
That was spooky. You did the stone that broke from the cursed stone or something.
I think that
like
was me actually.
I mean, that was timely. Like that had just happened.
Yeah, I think I actually brought that up because I saw it on my computer.
Interesting.
Like my dad sent me a link to that. What is going on over
happening?
I pressed the wrong button.
The wrong button, nigga. You press strobe. Come on.
I'll do better, I promise.
Move on. I can't.
Jesus. All right, so the biggest theory about what happens to these aircraft. There's a place right next to this, and it's called Area 51. And coincidentally, a bulk of the crashes happened after they started doing testing for God knows what happens in Area 51.
I would just like to establish, if I had to guess, if there are aliens somewhere, they're not at Area 51.
Yeah, because it's too known by that point, right?
Right.
I would hide it somewhere else.
They'd be in like Area 15.
Or 25.
They might have been there at one point.
Yeah, but they wouldn't be there anymore.
No,
They've been moved.
Especially when you have a bunch of like 20-year-olds hyped up on Monster that were ready to storm.
Oh my god, that shit was crazy, bro. They were gonna die.
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
They were all going to die. Do you remember that, Solo?
That was gonna be a.
You don't remember that?
Tell me again.
The Area 51 raid? Or raid?
Yes. Everybody just showed up at the same time.
And they were going to try and get on the base, and the military warned them, "We will shoot you."
We will shoot you.
And they would
have shot them. And they would have shot them with, like, fucking straight up ARs. It would have got ugly.
Yeah, it would have been real bad.
Nobody got hurt, though, I don't think.
And
I think some people got hurt in, like, the tramples, but other than that, no.
Everybody gets hurt in the tramples. Come on. That's part of the game.
It was like mosh pits, basically.
Yeah.
But no one had the courage courage or stupidity, however you want to portray it, to actually do it. They just showed up. So it was basically like a big ass party outside of Area 51.
It was basically like fucking like Burning Man.
Yeah, it was Burning Man outside of Area 51,
more or less.
And it's like crazy to think like that took place.
It is recently.
Yeah, fairly. What was it, 2 years ago now?
Maybe 3.
2 years ago.
I know 2 years ago was the Battle of the Joshes.
I remember the Battle of the Joshes quite well. It went down in history.
You guys remember that?
Oh man,
That shit was so dumb.
Yep, I remember that.
It's fucking great though. I'm gonna be real. If I got a message inviting me to the Battle of the Daniels, I'd go. I'd go. Fuck yeah, I'd go.
There'd be like 4 guys that show up to my event.
I'd be very confused if I got an invitation to the Battle of the Daniels.
Me too.
Confused too.
I wouldn't go.
Yeah, well,
it sounds sus.
it does. It does. Anyway, Let's move on.
See, honestly, I imagine you showing up to the Battle of the Daniels, and you're in just this empty warehouse, and you're just like, where's
all the other Daniels?
And then it turns into a type of movie you did not want to be a part of.
It's a good thing, just like Sam and Dean, I've come equipped to fight those ghosts with that steampunk strap on.
Sam and Dean.
I don't think that's gonna help you. I'm not gonna say anything more.
For the record, in case anybody was curious, those were cards that got played in cards.
He had. It was no.
That got played in Cards Against Humanity.
He had fantasies in his sleep time, and
with the ghosts.
It was Sam and Dean.
With the ghosts. If it was Sam and Dean, at what point did we need a strap-on?
Hey, man. It's your dream. Why did you need it?
All three of us have the built-in tool.
I don't know. You wanted bigger ones? I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, mine's not quite big enough. I suppose that's true. Anywho, let's move on. All right.
But yeah, so I wanted to bring that up because I've never heard of this.
I've never heard of it either. And I lived in Arizona.
Over 2,000 planes just crashing.
Never heard of it.
This.
No.
Something else that didn't interest me about it is my profession might be the reason it happens.
Weatherman?
So like the mountains in the area, the way the funneling could be for the winds.
Yeah,
you could have a giant downburst that could be causing jets to just crash.
It could be causing massive downbursts.
Knock right out of the air. Yeah.
Yeah, it could be causing complete system failures, yeah.
Really? The wind does that
downbursts
much?
Downbursts are dangerous, bro. People don't understand how microbursts are fucking insane.
Most people don't know that they're a thing, that they exist, but it can take an aircraft instantly out of the air.
Yeah.
And just drop it to
the ground. Almost
no
instant
possible way
of recovery.
Yeah, no possible way of recovery.
No, that's
just wind.
It's just wind going straight down. But at excessive speeds. It's almost like an explosion of wind heading downward.
Interestingly about that is, like, there are cases where people have just, like, they've heard a boom, right? And they think, oh, shit, like, lightning struck. They'll go outside, right? They'll go outside and they'll look around, like, their car windows shattered.
Yeah.
Right? Like, things are just pushed away.
Yeah, it's usually a microburst.
And they don't know what's going on. Microburst, just boom.
Yeah, it's a microburst.
Giant gust of wind.
It's basically just a funnel of air coming down in a straight tube, hitting the ground and literally just causing a shock wave away from it.
That's terrifying.
Mm-hmm. It is terrifying. Genuine. If you get hit physically by a microburst, you're probably dead. Honestly, like, it's probably rupturing organs. It's like a supervillain power. God, the microburst. That should be a supervillain.
Next time on 1,000 Ways to Die.
Getting hit with a microburst.
The microburst. At it again.
So, I think we should talk about it.
Yeah. Something happened recently.
Salo, would you and your forehead like to be a part of this conversation?
Locked and loaded. Let's do this.
Oh, what happened to your audio?
Can you hear me?
Yo, something just happened. I don't know what.
I don't know either.
What do you mean?
No, nothing. Let's just go ahead.
Yeah. You're fine now. So the Supreme Court recently overturned Roe v. Wade, as most everybody knows at this point.
If you don't, you're living under a rock.
Yeah. You guys have thoughts about that? Salo?
Yes. It is not good to take away rights. It's an outrage, and it's disappointing that we've come to this point in our history where we're actually regressing as a nation. And I cannot, like, obviously the Supreme Court justice leans a particular way, and I'm very fearful for what's to come. Try to be optimistic, but really, there's nothing. If cases go up to the Supreme Court now, they're leaning a particular way, and what do you guys think?
Okay,
I mean, a lot of. So on a vein of what you're talking about, the decision they made, where, in case anyone isn't aware, when they overturned Roe v. Wade, it got rid of federal protection in terms of abortion. The reason this is a big deal, amongst several reasons, to be honest, one of the reasons that you were just alluding to, Salo, is where does this continue to go if people's rights are being taken away at this level?
Which right is next?
Exactly.
Right. Now,
what gets overturned next?
Here's the thing. That's a problem for another day.
It is.
Because it is a problem. What comes next is a problem. But we already have a problem in what was just taken away. And that needs to be the focus right now. And here's the reality. Salo said, like, no rights should be taken away from people. That's absolutely true. I will make an argument that some rights are less necessary than others. I will make that argument. The right to own a gun, not that needed. Do you have the right to own a gun? Yes. Can you own a gun because of it? Yes. Do you need the right to own a gun? Probably not. Does it really matter? Like, do we all need to own guns? No. Honestly, no. The right to have control over your own body is super important.
Yes.
Women's rights to have the right to an abortion is significantly more important than your right to own a gun.
And this isn't a conversation about whether or not you agree with abortion.
Right.
It's not
It's not about whether
like,
you like it or not.
Yeah.
Me personally, I'm not a fan. I wouldn't want it in a relationship I'm in, but I don't have that say. If the person I'm with wants it, I support her decision, and then we have to decide where our relationship goes from there, because that's not something I'm personally a fan of. But it is her decision, and I support that it is her decision, because it's her fucking body. I'm not personally a fan of it. That doesn't mean I have the right to take that right away from her.
I agree.
Yeah. And for people that are unaware, it is not... This being overturned is not a... Abortion is illegal. It doesn't just make abortion illegal. It has been now relegated to the state.
But
states are making abortion illegal,
and that's gonna continue to get worse and worse and worse. And here's the thing. Yes. Here's what I've been saying about gun laws, and now I'm gonna have to say it about abortion laws. It's the same fucking thing. It's crazy that this is gonna be a similar thing. Reality. Making stricter gun laws doesn't make the bad people not get guns. It just makes them get guns in a different way. Abortions doesn't make the pregnant women not get abortions. It just makes them do it in a less safe way.
Yep.
Abortions don't go away now. Now they're just not as safe. Now there's more risks.
Because abortions happen.
They happened long before there were clinics.
Yep. And they're going to happen long after.
They're not going away.
Of like, why?
Except now we're not going to protect the mother in the process as well.
Yeah.
Now,
we're not going to put people in a safe environment to do so.
And I've said this before, and I stand by this. After a certain point, abortion is not okay. I stand by that. After a certain point in the pregnancy, abortion is no longer okay unless there's a significant health risk to the mother. But up until that point, it's totally fair. It's totally justified. You're just not ready to be a mom. You don't want to be a mom. You don't want to go through childbirth. You don't want to go through pregnancy. You don't want to have a kid with that person. Or maybe, just maybe, you just ain't fucking feeling it today. Whatever. It's your choice. You don't need to justify it.
No one has to agree with you. Like, the certain decisions should not be made at the level that they're being made at. These decisions about people shouldn't be made. These are personal decisions about their own body.
So, let me ask you something. What's the reason? What's the reason that abortion's so bad?
Obviously, there's that ideological reasoning, religious reasoning.
So, there it is. That's the reason. Religious. Because it's not scientifical.
No, it's not.
Because scientifically, the kid's not alive.
Yeah,
this is not murder.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Like science. Religious is the problem. Here's the problem with that. We have said since the beginning, there is supposed to be a separation of church and state. So why isn't there? That's the problem. Because scientifically, there is no reason you can't get an abortion. This isn't murder. The fetus isn't alive. There's no brain function. There's no nothing. If that's the case, why is it still legal to pull the plug on somebody that's in a vegetative state? They're alive. Yeah. On their own. They did it. They're here. Hey, look, Ma, no hands. They made it.
Yeah.
But we can pull the plug on them. And I'm not... And that's... that
like...
It's just...
Hypocrisy. They pick and choose.
I don't know that there can be very many reasons that you can come up with.
Other than religion.
Something being in place. Like, okay. Let's say, for instance... the Supreme Court is justified in specifically overturning Roe v. Wade for, like, something that happened in the case. Right? I don't know all the details. That doesn't mean they shouldn't put a protection in place. Like, you know the ramifications of what you're doing, right? They literally have the power to make sure that the right protection is still there. Yeah,
so, like, the next thing that it's been indicated they're going after is Brown versus Board of Ed. So, let's say there's actually something in Brown versus Board of Ed that they can find that justifies an overturn because of whatever it may have been. Illegal practice, whatever. Who cares? Let's just say there's something that says, hey, it should be overturned. Does that mean we're just going to start segregating schools again? Is that where we're going?
No.
If there is something so bad in these cases, right, that they warrant another look, that they have to throw out these cases, they have to overrule them. Put something in place. Establish that protection. Outside of the ruling.
So here's my thing. Why are we going back and overruling things? Why aren't we just making new rulings? Hey, real quick.
The only explanation I could possibly give you for that,
okay,
right? The only thing is if a case gets brought up in a current case as a justification for something.
Okay.
But the parameter that they are looking at for that case was handled incorrectly.
Okay. Why not make a new case to correct it? To correct that parameter. Because it's not like we can't do that within our own legal system. Because, I'll give you a perfect example, what's the 18th Amendment? No drinking. No alcohol.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
What's the 21st Amendment? It's bringing back alcohol. The 21st Amendment is literally just to overrule the 18th Amendment. We didn't go back and overturn it. We fixed it.
Yep.
We literally have a future amendment just to correct a shitty amendment we had earlier. We can do that with court cases. We can just fix things. Stop breaking more shit.
And I think, and this very well might just be me, I think this goes into the fact that this is something that can be public. This is something that pulls literally everyone's attention. Because there's no real need for this entire situation to be happening.
No.
No need for it at all.
No. It's ridiculous.
So why? Why are, the 50 plus people up in Supreme Court, I'm talking age, randomly coming to the decision of all the things that are going on in America right now, going on in the world right now, we're just going to hop back to Roe v. Wade and get rid of protection for abortion?
Ridiculous.
We don't have enough problems going on right now.
We don't have any crises that could be taking place right now. Nothing. Maybe this is more important than everything going on in the world. Maybe my priorities are out of whack in terms of that. I don't think they are, but that is just me.
It's just sad, man. Like,
ultimately, the state of America is not great right now. At all.
No, it's not. And it's just getting worse.
It hasn't been great. And it's been getting worse.
And you know what the biggest problem is? Here's the reality of it. Everybody wants to play the blame game. Republicans blame the Democrats. Democrats blame the Republicans. Nobody wants to fucking raise their hand and say, you know what? This part's on me. Like, oh shit, we kind of fucked this up a little bit. Everybody wants to say, hey, this is because of them. Hey, this is because of them. This is because of them. Oh, this is because of low-income black neighborhoods. Oh, this is because of all of the all-white neighborhoods. This is because of the Republican neighborhoods. This is because of the Democratic neighborhoods. This is because of the women's movement. This is because of this and this and... Fuck that. It's because we aren't working together. Why are we blaming Biden and only Biden for the fact that gas prices are up? Is Biden responsible? Partially. Yes. Was Trump responsible for the gas prices going down? Partially. Yes. You know what else was responsible? No one going anywhere because we were in the middle of a fucking pandemic. The demand for gasoline was so low, gas prices didn't need to be high. No one wants to think about demand. Supply and demand. Such a simple thing that we've been taught since the 9th grade.
Guess what everybody did when COVID was no longer as prevalent as it has been, when the restrictions went away?
They all went back out.
Went out and did shit.
And then what happened? COVID came back.
In full force.
COVID came back. So, and that was something else. So, wait a minute. You're telling me that, and this was something I said to you earlier, but it's the truth. How is this somebody's mentality? Telling a woman that she can't get an abortion is not encroaching on her human rights, but telling someone they need to wear a mask in public is? Because that was the argument. Telling me I have to wear a mask violates my rights.
What right is that?
I don't know. That was the argument I kept hearing, though.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted to say, we don't have to wear masks. That's against our rights. You can't make us wear masks. That's against our rights.
They can make you have a baby.
Yeah.
But you can make a woman carry a baby to full term. That's not against her rights.
I'm pretty sure I heard a lot of it's my body.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. It's my body. It's my choice.
Heard that a lot.
Yeah. It's your body, it's your choice when it's a mess, but not when it's a baby.
Mm.
And here's the reality. Come next presidential election, our previous president is going to run for president again, and there's a good chance he wins again. And is it going to fix the country? No. Is it going to make it worse? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe not. At the rate we're going, we might not have a chance to find out.
Well, I mean, the problem there is the president is not the person that fixes the country.
But the problem is you are right at that. The problem is the people that need to be standing together to fix the country think it's the president that divides them.
No.
That's the problem.
Agreed.
Because we as a people, if we could all get on the same fucking page, we could actually force the government into listening to us. We could. We have that power. The problem is the government is so good at splitting us apart. To be fair, that's what they want to do, so kudos to them. They want to keep people divided, they want to keep people bickering, and it works. And so kudos to them. They've done a great job. But as long as we're fighting each other, we're not fighting them. And as long as we're not fighting them, we're not changing anything.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about, like, the people that have remained in offices for years upon years upon years, it doesn't change. Like, you don't have people making educated votes. You don't have people voting for, you know, all the lower levels of government that end up reaching to that stage where real change actually happens. I'm not saying I'm any better. I haven't been doing it. I reckon I'm currently in a different country. But that doesn't change the fact that I'm also part of the problem.
We all are.
Yeah.
Same.
Because it is literally we that's the problem.
But
And now we are
feeling the repercussions.
Yes.
But, I mean, I still firmly stand by the fact that we need to stop having people in office that make the decisions for our future that were around when Jim Crow laws were around.
Yes. Put an age cap on that bitch.
There needs to be a fucking age cap and a term cap. You don't get to be in fucking Congress for 40 years. Get the fuck out.
Supreme Court, please.
It's just, we have to work together, and people don't want to. People want to be divided. About everything. Anything.
Yeah.
Look, I'm all for having conversations and disagreements, and look, I'm all for people having opinions. If you're personally against abortion, you have that right to be against it personally. As long as you're not infringing on someone else's right, I don't have a problem with you. The minute you start taking other people's rights away is the problem. You're allowed to have your own opinions. That doesn't make you an inherently bad person. Wanting people to lose their rights does.
So, curious gentlemen, as like or we wrap this up.
A closing
Where do you
point?
think what yeah, well, where do you think we go from here?
Think or want?
Where do you think, like, based off of what you know has taken place, what's happening? What do you think's gonna happen?
Probably
my
just,
honest answer?
it's going to be a big talking point in the next election, small elections. It's going to be the new big question. But there's nothing that's going to be done about it. Honestly,
I think there is something that's going to be done about it.
You think so?
I don't think it's going to happen soon, but I think 10 years from now, I think we're probably looking at another civil war.
Or people die out. I think the old people would just die out, to be honest.
But it doesn't matter. The old people get replaced with the next group of old people.
It's not wrong.
We're not replacing the 80-year-olds with 30-year-olds. We're replacing them with 60-year-olds.
Ew.
That were mentored
by the 80-year-olds. But realistically, what's next? Brown versus Board of Ed. Miranda versus State. Other things that protect people. Those are what's next. And when people finally say, you know what, wait a minute, they're taking a little bit too much from all of us, people are going to stand up. And I'm going to be real with you, the U.S. military is mighty, but there is a lot of redneck motherfuckers in this country with a lot of guns. And the minute they try and take those guns away from those rednecks, y'all fucked up. I'm just saying. I hope that we can get our shit together. But more than that, I hope if and when a civil war does break out, it's the people versus the government and not the people versus other people.
Right.
Because I would rather be it overthrowing a hypocritical government that wants to hold its people down than a war between its people that the government's just going to thrive off of. I hope neither happen. I hope we can just fix our shit. But I don't see that happening. I've lost a lot of faith in people's ability to fucking do the right thing. As sad as it is. We're taking basic rights away from people.
Yeah.
What's next? What's the next basic right that gets taken away?
Well, on that note.
Hopefully by the next time we see you all, we all still have the rights we have right now. Hopefully they don't take anything else from us. And hopefully we have good news. But just for the record, we know none of it doesn't actually apply to any of us directly, but we just want any of our female listeners to know that all of us here at Beyond Us, we feel for you. We stand with you. We're sorry that there's not more we can do personally, but we are here with you in this, and fuck them, for real.
Yeah.
No, like for real. We are with you.
For real.
100%. Fuck them. Just be careful when people fuck you now, because you ain't got the right to do anything about it if something goes wrong now. It's bullshit. That's all we got. We'll see you next time. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. I'm Daniel. That's Brett. That's Salo. We are Beyond Us. This was episode 12. We'll see you next time.
Toodaloo.
Deuces.
Did you just say toodaloo?
He did just say toodaloo.
Did he say toodaloo?
That's how he wanted to end this. You spend most of this podcast looking at this man's forehead.
And then he says
more than
toodaloo.
his eyes,
Then he says
and you want to
toodaloo.
end this with toodaloo.
He said toodaloo. No, I'm still recording.
No. I want you to understand. Podcast active still right now.
Still.
They're listening.
We're not
to
done.
this.
Yeah, like this is the new ending for this episode.
No,
so,
you're looking at your dumbass expression right now. After you just said toodaloo.
Now after that, now we're Beyond Us. That's Tweedledee.
I'm beyond. Hang
on. We're Beyond Us. Brett's Tweedledee. I'm Tweedledum, and that's Toodaloo. We'll see you next time. Later, guys.